Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Tony Nathan Laws. I'm a man of trans experience living in Jamaica. Alright, so the aim of this video today is I'm going to do a question and answer segment where I'm going to be asking some questions and I'm going to go ahead and answer them. Just before I do that though, I would like to show you guys my shirt. It says I'm the scared transgender person that the media warned you about. I was given this shirt by my wonderful wife Tiana, and I actually love this shirt. So I wanted to show you guys the shirt, and thank you so much for the shirt, babe. I really love it. All right, so let's go straight into the question and answer segment. So the first question I have here says, what does it mean to be transgender? All right, so from Google, it states that denoting or relating to a person whose sense of personal identity does not correspond with their sex at birth. And then Transwave has this book, and it has some definition in there, so I'll also be using this book to um, get some definitions out of. So this book has transgender, and it says an umbrella term for persons whose gender identity or and expression is different from cultural expectation based on the sex they were assigned at birth. Alright, so basically by reading these two definition, it states that transgender person is a person whose gender identity does not match or does not correspond to the sex they were assigned at birth. For me, I'm a transgender man, or I can say a trans man, and I was assigned female at birth, but I identify as a man. Okay. Alright, so that answers the first question. I hope you guys understand um, what I was saying. So the next question is, what's the difference between sex and gender? All right, so in the book here, I'm going to be reading what it says in the book. So in the book, it has the definition for sex and it has a definition for gender. So in the book, it states that sex, the classification of a person as male or female. At birth, infants are assigned a sex, usually based on the appearance of their external anatomy. This is what is written on the birth certificate. A person's sex, however, is actually a combination of a bodily characteristics, including chromosomes, hormones, internal and external reproductive organs, and secondary sex characteristic. That's what the definition for sex. Alright, so for gender, this refers to the socially constructed characteristic of women and men, such as norms, rules, and relationships of and between groups of women and men. It varies from society to society. Alright, so I would also like to read what it says about gender identity. This refers to a person's internal, deeply held sense of their gender. For transgender people, their own internal gender identity does not match the sex they were assigned at birth. Most people have a gender identity of male or female, boy or girl. For some people, their gender identity does not fit neatly into one of these two choices. Alright, so sex has to do with your chromosomes. It has to do with your sex organs. It has to do with um so it has to do with your chromosomes. It has to do with your sex organs, that's your reproductive organs, internal and external reproductive organs. It has to do with your genitals. Right? So that's what sex refers to. Gender, on the other hand, has to do with your internal sense of who you are. It has to do with what you feel you are on the inside. It's an internal thing. How you look does not determine your gender identity. It has to do with how you feel you are or who you feel you are on the inside. Okay, so that's it for sex and gender. If you guys want a more in-depth definition for this, or would like me to talk to expound more on this, you can just leave that in the comment and I will do a video just to speak on this issue. Okay? Alright, so the next question I have is, does all trans people take hormones? And the answer for that question is no. Not all trans person take hormones. Some trans person might not take hormones because of various reasons. It could be just a personal decision to not take it. It could be because of health reasons. It could be because they are not financially able to do it. It could mean anything, and not because a trans person doesn't take hormones mean that they're less of a trans person. They're less of the identity that they identify as. Not because they don't take hormones mean that they're not valid. Yes, they're valid. If a trans person decide not to take hormones for whatever reason that they choose not to, it's their personal decision, and it's their life, so they can do what they want to do, and that doesn't make them less of a person or less of the gender or the gender they identify as. Okay, so I could say that's it for hormones. I could also add on to say that, as we know, transgender is just a broad umbrella. You have trans man, trans woman, you have gender non-conforming, you have gender fluid. A gender fluid person might not take hormones I, because on the days that they feel like a male, they would like to dress like a male and perceive themselves as a male. On the days that they feel like a female, they would like to dress like a female, act like a female, and be seen as a female. So taking hormones might alter their ability to do that, and so they might choose not to take hormones because of that. That's just an example. All right, so the next question is, why are pronouns important to trans people? Our pronouns are very important to trans people because this is what they use, or what we use, to affirm our identity when we are out in the public. You might not know, or you might not know what your name is, but our pronouns is what we use to affirm who we are. And so pronouns are very, very important. For me, I know that for me, being misgendered does a lot to my mental health. It feels like I'm getting a million stabs in my chest, in my back, all over my body. It kills me when I'm being misgendered. And because of that, I try hard every day to dress a particular way or act a particular way so that I can be perceived as a male. Um, and so that I don't get misgendered. Now, before I started hormones, I work at a call center, and talking on a phone, you're not seeing me, you're just hearing my voice. And before I started hormones, I had a very high pitched voice, more than what I have now. And so when I speak on the phone, I get a lot of miss and mom, and it used to do a lot to me. I mean, before I come out of the house, I have to look in the mirror and talk to myself. Let myself know that, okay, I'm going to be misgendered a lot today, but that does not make me less valid. And I have to do that. It's like a routine every day. I have to speak to myself in order not to go crazy when I'm on the phone. And now that I've started hormones, I have my voice have gotten a bit deep, and so I'm no longer misgendered when I'm on the phone. And thanks be to God, that is awesome. And it has done a lot to my mental health. And even when I'm having a very, 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 very shitty day, being talking on the phone and being not misgendered, being referred to as sir, being called he, it it does a lot to me, and I am very grateful for that. um so yeah, being pronouns are very important, and I believe that every person should respect a person's pronoun. If you have if you have a person in your life that is transgender, and you know anybody that's transgender, or you might not know that the person is transgender, but you just meet a person, you might not know anything about them, but it is always good to ask what their pronouns are. it's always good to always ask what a person's pronouns are more than assuming, because when you assume, it does a lot of harmful things and it can do a lot to their mental health. So please always ask what a person's pronouns are, and when you do find out what a person's pronouns are, use them. Please use them. It will be awesome, and you will help a person to be okay, to feel like they're valid. So please use them once you know them. If you don't know them, ask. It doesn't kill to ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. And once you find out, just use them. Alright, so I have another question. I have another question. Another question. I have another question that was asked by someone, because all these questions that I was talking about before are questions that were not asked by anyone. I just felt like asking these questions. But this question is was asked by someone, and so I would like to touch a bit on it. So the question is this question is how have how have you dealt with body dysphoria in the past compared to now? Alright, so I will not be going in depth with this question. I will just be giving you a rundown. Um, and in the next video though, I will be doing a next question and answer segment, and I will be answering that question more in depth with that question in my next video. Alright, so for this video, I will just be talking about what dysphoria is and so forth. So let's get into it. Alright, so I'll be just reading from this book. Alright, so it says gender dysphoria. It's a clinical significant distress caused when a person's assigned sex at birth is not the same as the gender they were identified with. So gender dysphoria is what a trans person go through on a day-to-day basis. And not all persons that goes to gender dysphoria is going to hate their body. And that's okay. You don't have to hate your body to be trans. And for me though, I hated my body. I, I still do, but starting hormones now have helped in a sense, because I can see a lot of changes already happening, and so I feel good about them, and so it has helped in a sense. Alright, how I dealt with this for back then, being a Christian, being a Pentecostal Christian where they don't allow females to wear male clothing, and being assigned female at birth, I was not allowed to wear male clothing. And so how I dealt with it was just staying to myself.